days from now. That's perhaps what the Congress party hopes for. Joining us on the show to debate that this evening, Abhishek Singhvi, senior leader, Rajya Sabha MP and spokesperson of the Congress party, and also joining us, former Union Minister and national spokesperson, top leader of the BJP, Arun Jaitley. Thank you, gentlemen, both of you, for joining us. Now, Mr. Jaitley, Congress says you are trying to flog a dead horse. They're right, aren't they, in a way? They're right, because this issue has come up again and again.
Well, a stain of corruption doesn't wipe off. And if the stain of corruption was to the closest friend of the Prime Minister, who influenced the award of the contract, the more the cover-ups take place, the more the conspiratorial politics takes place to help him, the deeper it gets. India is convinced about the extent of corruption of this particular gentleman in this deal, and India is convinced of the fact that just because he happened to be closely connected with the first family of the Congress party, repeated attempts have been made to help him. Where was the need to withdraw this red corner notice? Where was the need to tell the Crown Prosecutor in London that we have no case against him, defreeze his account? Where was the need to go to Argentina, and then that statement we made in London stares us in the face and his arrest is revoked? Where was the need when there is a charge sheet against him, when he is a proclaimed offender, of helping him? I think doing it in the course of elections, the Congress party is convinced it is not coming back to power, and like most despotic regimes, it wants to help its friends in its last days in office.
The question is that of timing, Mr. Singh. You can say flogging a dead horse, but then the timing of it, remarkable, isn't it? I mean, it follows Jagdish Titler a few days back, and now, you know, if someone says, yes, you are obviously using overweening influence over the CBI to somehow bury the case finally as one last favor to Octavio Quattrochi, they can't be wrong.
Arnab, if you see all the allegations against us, including the last one by my good friend Mr. Jaitley, it's all sound and fury in words. Where are the facts? First of all, let me make it clear, we have no brief for any individual. We're not concerned with the CBI and an individual prosecution about an individual accused. Now, let me answer Mr. Jaitley by asking three simple questions, and I want factual answers to them. Why did, during the law ministership of Mr. Jaitley, with a totally convinced and vindictive and opposed NDA BJP from 2001 to 2004, despite desperate attempts, why were they not able to get Mr. Quattrochi back on extradition from Malaysia? Mr. Quattrochi is so full of guilt. Mr. Jaitley's team lost in the Sessions Court, lost in the High Court, lost in the Court of Appeal, and lost in the Apex Court of Malaysia 4 times. In 3 years they took. Number 2, why is it that during your term, with an agenda which is known from Bofors from 1987, you got a judgment argued by your lawyers, your Additional Solicitor General in February 2004 by the Delhi High Court, completely exonerating Rajiv Gandhi and saying that, passing strictures that to put his name even amongst the dead persons list was wrong. Why? Number 3, the same reason as to why you failed in Malaysia in 4 courts, the same poor CBI failed again in Argentina. Now, after these 3 things, when no evidence was found against Quattrochi and he could not be brought back by judicial process, a Attorney General may have given an opinion that the consequential red corner notice cannot stand because the main case doesn't stand. On that, now what's most important point, I'm ending, Arnab. On that basis, the CBI will file a report in this court, and it is the court which will decide. If Mr. Jaitley or his party are aggrieved, they can go to that court.
No, I want Mr. Jaitley to respond to that, but Mr. Jaitley, you are aware that this is the point that's put again against you. That you raised this question 3 times in the past, in the Malaysian courts, you raised it in the Argentinian courts, it was rejected on all occasions, and hence you don't have the ground to be really making this an issue.
It's gone, line is gone.
First of all, Arunav, we must be aware of the facts. Dr. Singhvi is wrong on each one of the facts he states. He first says he holds no brief for Quattrochi. I dispute that. The Congress party treats Quattrochi like a very special person. In 1993, when the Swiss government first gave the document saying Quattrochi is the beneficiary of the Bofors payoffs, within 3 days, despite our saying, please withhold his passport, snatch his passport away, he was allowed to escape out of the country. It is the Congress party government of P.V. Narasimha Rao, which Dr. Singhvi represents, allowed an absconder to escape. When the NDA government came, the entire delay of Congress or Congress supported governments till 1998 was over. In 1999, a charge sheet was filed against Kothrochi, a fact which Abhishek Singhvi very cleverly and deliberately fails to mention. Thereafter, a legal process starts. We go to Malaysia, we lost in the High Court, and in the weekend when we approached the Supreme Court, the CBI approached the Supreme Court, Kothrochi, the guilty man, escaped from Malaysia and went back to Italy, and therefore the case could not be taken up in the Supreme Court of Malaysia because he had escaped from there. The fact of escape again shows that the sword of guilt hangs around his neck. Point number 3. It is only during the VP Singh regime and the Vajpayee government that the CBI had the freedom to act. They froze the accounts in 1990 during VP Singh's government. They registered the FIR in 1990 during VP Singh's government. They sent a letter rogatory during VP Singh's government, a charge sheet during Vajpayee's government. All challenges to the charge sheet defeated. And finally, the last thing he says about that erroneous and a perverse judgment of the Delhi High Court came during the elections of 2004, and again in May 2004 when the UPA government came to power, they decided to give finality to the judgment, and again a pliable opinion was taken from a law officer of the government and a decision taken not to file an appeal. A PIL against that is still pending before the Supreme Court in India. Here is a party whose government colludes in not filing an appeal, which colludes, what is wrong? Please dispute any one of these facts, which colludes in getting him to escape, which makes him the beneficiary of corruption, and today has the audacity to say, well, what did you do? I helped the corrupt, what did you do to catch him? That can't be an argument, that can only be an argument of an immoral party.
Now, Arnab, let me have my say. Arnab,
Mr. Singhvi, I want you to take him on directly, but answer a simple question. I know Mr. Jaitley's put the legal points on. Why does this particular file move at lightning speed? Some of our viewers write back to us and they say, red corner notices are sometimes pending against people from World War II. That in this case, there seems to be an unnatural haste.
Please appreciate.
This includes the defeasing of assets.
Arnab, I was cut off in the middle of my sentence by your technical thing when I was speaking. My phone went off. I have not heard the last part, and you have given a long time to Mr. Jaitley. Fact number 1, on which Mr. Jaitley has conveniently glossed over. The Delhi High Court judgment came in early February 2004.
True.
Hello?
True.
It came after long arguments by a NDA law officer. There were 3 months after that before election results came. You did not file any appeal in 3 months. NDA did not file any appeal. That judgment strictured the NDA for carrying on a motivated agenda and said there was nothing against Rajiv Gandhi. Number 2, if you had all the facts about Rajiv Gandhi, Congress and Kothrochi with you, why did you utterly fail for 3 years, I repeat, 2001 to 2004 in Malaysia? Why? Number 3, in the last 10, just a minute, in the last 22 years from 1987 to 2009, 10 years have been non-Congress governments. 10 years. Now, you can't do it in 2 years of VP Singh government. You can't do it in 6 years of Vajpayee government. Well, if the evidence is so clear, the corrupt are so obviously corrupt, if the evidence is hanging for everybody to see, why could you not do anything about it?
Does this justify what you did in 2005?
The real question.
No. Does this justify what you did in 2005?
Nobody is justifying at all. What we are saying is that it was a proceeding before a court. The court in the High Court held one view.
I would like to intervene at this stage.
Okay, he wants to Mr. Jaitley.
And I want to say one thing.
At this stage.
Okay, you ask your question, then Mr. Jaitley intervenes. Go ahead, Mr. Singhvi.
My question is this: every time at every election, be it assembly election or national election, the ghost of Bofors is raised to flog a dead horse. It was raised from 87 onwards. Several careers were made on it, but till today, not one piece and iota of credible evidence by hostile, antagonistic, politically opposed governments and political parties have been able to find anything against the Congress or Rajiv Gandhi.
Okay.
We as a party are concerned only about the Congress or Rajiv Gandhi.
Okay.
If you cannot find anything in 22 years, we are not concerned with individual accused at all.
Okay,
Please go and hang all individual accused.
No, doesn't explain though why the CBI went to the Attorney General on this particular case. Yes, Mr. Jaitley.
Because obviously,
well,
because the CBI stand was that all extradition proceedings had been thwarted against Quattrochi, no evidence.
No, why the hurry for
Therefore,
one person?
they
That's the only
said
question. I'm
that
coming
why-
back to you, Mr. Singhvi.
There's not a hurry. The opinion, if there was a hurry,
All right, now allow me to
the
answer.
opinion is of
Yes,
the
Mr.
AG
Jaitley.
is
Dr. Singhvi's monologue
October.
must
1
end at
minute.
some stage.
The opinion of the AG is October 2008.
Okay.
If there was a hurry, we would have done it in 2008.
Okay, I go to Mr. Jaitley.
From October 2008 till now, the last thing we'd
Okay.
want to do is to deliberately do it during the
No,
elections.
I go to Mr.
It obviously
Jaitley
shows
with
that
the-
the government has done nothing.
I go to Mr. Jaitley with just a small point to Mr. Jaitley. Mr. Jaitley, this can be said to be the natural culmination of the entire process, you know, which started in October.
That's
so what's
right.
new about it? What's new about it, Mr. Jaitley?
Right.
No. What is new about is the facts have only come to be known now.
Okay.
Dr. Singhvi's both arguments are absolutely baseless. A government which shielded the corrupt, which resulted in a cover-up exercise today comes up and says, let the others produce evidence. Now, October 2008, you say because the extradition proceedings have been thwarted, the red corner notice is futile. Does this argument also apply to Dawood Ibrahim? Dawood Ibrahim's extradition proceedings have been thwarted.
Oh my.
Pakistan does not cooperate. Dubai does not cooperate. Does that mean the red corner notice against him
No,
will go?
no, no.
Red corner notices continue indefinitely.
no.
Now please, Dr. Singhvi, don't interrupt. Your saying no doesn't change the facts. Let me now tell you what's the evidence against Rajiv Gandhi and Quattrochi. 6 trials by the army favored a gun called Sofma. Thereafter came Bofors. Somebody in the 7th trial favored Bofors. In between the 6th and the 7th trial, a company called AE Services had an agreement with Bofors Nobel Industries that we shall get you the contract before the 31st of March 1986. They indeed did. And finally, the Swiss have given evidence that kickbacks of 4% have gone into the accounts of AE Services. The man behind AE Services is Octavio Quattrochi, a close friend of the Prime Minister. With this black and white evidence,
You are
Dr. Singhvi
only
wants the
recounting
country to wonder,
allegations.
what is the evidence? This is
Arnab,
the
let me
evidence
answer this.
of the CBI.
Arnab,
Yes, Mr. Jaitley, let him reply to you. Yes, go ahead.
Arnab, Mr.
Now,
Jaitley's first
therefore,
point.
with such
I
overwhelming
mean, this is worse
evidence,
than this
now,
is
with
worse
such
than chalk
overwhelming
and cheese.
evidence-
This is worse. There have to be some relevance to comparisons. His comparison with Dawood Ibrahim, if it was not outrageous, it would be laughable.
Yeah, extradition against
Does
him has
Dawood
been
Ibrahim
thwarted.
have
Let's withdraw the
two
red
sets
corner
of court
notice.
judgments? Does Dawood Ibrahim, I ask you, have 2 sets of 6 court judgments, 4 in Malaysia and 2 or 3 in Argentina, holding that there is no evidence
Oh.
produced before the court?
In Indian
Does
law,
Dawood
both are
Ibrahim have that?
proclaimed offenders.
Now, one
Dawood
minute,
Ibrahim
let
is a
me complete
proclaimed
that, let me
offender.
complete.
Octavio Quattrochi is a
Don't
proclaimed offender.
compare. You are purely trying to prejudice by using words. Stick to fact.
We are comparing
You just
two
compared
accused
Dawood Ibrahim with the
who are
Quattrochi
proclaimed
case.
offenders.
Number two, what you are repeating are allegations starting from 87. From 87, if it was so
These are
obvious
documents.
that there was a commission arrangement, that Quattrochi did this, that he was linked with the family, well, as I said again, why were you not able to produce that evidence in 4 courts in Malaysia? Why was the CBI unable to do so in 2 courts in Argentina? And why
Well,
did
in the
your
court
court
in
proceedings
Malaysia
fail in the High Court?
in the course of
Because you had no
extradition-
evidence.
Well, I am sorry. You are refusing to face the fact in the course of an extradition proceeding which went to the Supreme Court of Malaysia, he absconded from Malaysia and went to Italy. You are glossing over the fact
He did not
that his course
abscond
of conduct
before
has been
his
consistently- He ran away. While there was a weekend in
Before
between
he
the
ran
High Court
away, you
judgment and
spent
the
3
Supreme Court
years.
appeal,
You spent 3 years in
yes,
4
he
courts
ran
in
away.
Malaysia.
He ran away when
The
the
Sessions
proceedings
Court,
were
the
pending
High
in
Court,
Australia.
the
He
Court of
absconded
Appeal and
from
the Federal
India.
Court.
No, Mr. Singhvi
He
and Mr.
absconded from India.
The NDA engaged top counsel. Hello, Arnab.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, I can hear.
The NDA engaged a top counsel. The NDA engaged a top counsel in Malaysia. He fought the case at the bottom trial court. He fought in the High Court. He fought in the Court of Appeal. The government of India, under an NDA, Mr. Advani, under Mr. Vajpayee, always inimically opposed to Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, and they lost everywhere.
Mr. Singhvi,
Why do you blame the CBI now?
Mr. Singhvi, you know, I don't want to go back 6 years, 7 years, 10 years all the time.
But he's
as you
going
said-
back 22
since
years.
we have 6 more minutes on
He
this
started
debate.
the story with 87.
No, since we have 6 more minutes on the debate, I want to talk of now. Now, my question is, Mr. Jaitley, stay on,
Yes.
please. My question is, why now? Why did Prithviraj Chavan and Hansraj Bhardwaj, Minister of State in the PMO and Law Minister, meet the CBI Director on this issue? And if they did, then can you
I'll
really
tell
say
you.
it's an independent body? You know, CBI in this country is not a tribunal.
No.
It's not a commission.
Now,
it's not a body that
Arnab.
has no public accountability minister heading it. It reports to a minister of a personnel.
Arnab, 1 minute. Arnab, you have again and again raised the issue of timing. Let me say 2 or 3 things. Firstly, the CBI is a prosecuting agency in many cases. Its prosecutorial decisions and discretions, day-to-day running, are entirely autonomous. What is not, it is under the administrative control of a ministry in the central government which does not oversee its day-to-day functioning.
Then why would the
Its
Law Minister and the
prosecutions its
Minister of
court
State and the
appearances-
PMO meet
1
the
minute, let
CBI
me
director?
complete, let me complete. Number 2, since Mr. Quattroki had obtained at least 6 judgments, 4 during NDA's rule and 2 during the Argentinian episode, a legitimate question was raised whether a red corner notice which is purely consequential when the main matter has ended could survive. Now 6 months ago, an AG gives an opinion.
Oh, why is this
that
opinion-
itself shows that there was no undue haste.
No, but why
there
is
was
this
no undue haste.
No, it's the...
If they wanted to close,
Mr. Singhvi.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Mr. Singhvi, only
If
question
they wanted
is,
to close,
you are saying if they wanted to close, they could have closed earlier. Question is the cloak and dagger manner.
can I just finish? Can I just finish? If they wanted to close, they could close in October. The very fact that it happened now shows that these decisions on prosecutorial detail are taken by the CBI. And let me repeat, ultimately the CBI has to go to a court. Neither Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, nor the CBI, nor the Law Minister takes his decision.
No, but it's a
They only put their point of view in a court. The court may or may not discharge the whole thing.
No, it's a political
and the
case.
example of Dawood is so outrageously different.
No, that comparison to Dawood is the
Yeah.
one made by Mr. Jaitley. But Mr. Jaitley, now,
Yeah.
do you think the people of India, you raised the Swiss banks issue, people say today that for the BJP this is a fantastic opportunity because it's followed its whole argument on Swiss papers. And this is very convenient at this point. You think people in this country 20 years after Bofors care and that they will vote and that this will determine the way this election actually goes?
Well, the Congress party may not be concerned with corruption today. The media may suffer from a fatigue on issues of corruption. But for the people of India, the evil of corruption is writ large as a political issue. CBI being completely subverted. What did the CBI do in Mulayam Singh's case? When he opposed the Congress, they opposed Mulayam Singh. When he joined hands with the Congress, they supported his stance in the disproportionate assets case. They did the same with Mayawati. They did the same in Lalu's disproportionate asset case. The independence and autonomy of CBI has been perverted completely. Recently, I read 2 weeks ago articles in the Indian Express by Justice J.S. Verma, Mr. Fali Nariman, that now some institutional changes are required because CBI has become a convenient tool in the hands of the political establishment.
Okay.
And therefore, I think that no government has misused the CBI in a manner which the UPA government
No, but
has.
Mr. Jaitley, while you make a point on the CBI on the larger issue of corruption to which you say even the media is not interested, I mean, can the BJP take a position? Just moving aside for a moment, I mean, Sukhram supported your government in Himachal Pradesh. Bhutta Singh was in your government.
Case.
I mean,
I am sorry.
Where's the high moral ground
in
that
a
BJP
coalition
can take?
politics if somebody comes? So we asked Bhutta Singh
No,
to
I
resign
want to put
the
it
day
more-
the charges
Forget-
were framed against him. And in fact, Sukhram was
1
never
minute.
offered a position in the government even though he supported the government. You must remember that.
1 minute, Arnab.
He
Arnab.
never supported,
Arnab?
never withdrew a single case.
okay,
Arnab,
go ahead.
they did not support or withdraw any case because they never filed some cases on obvious cases. They are the Bangaru Judev party, which on candid camera, for the first time in the history of the world, their party president is asking for money and they don't file an FIR. They don't refer it to CBI.
And 5
They
years
have
you
to
haven't been
put
able
up
to
a
move an
commission
inch.
of inquiry
5 years
to
you
find
haven't
out
been
the
able to
truth.
move an inch.
And they are talking about this.
No, but there's a sense of secrecy about Quattroki. You know, it's this about Quattroki, Mr. Singhvi, there is secrecy. You remember every time this story comes out in the media, and that's when the Congress party and the government get their act together and they respond. You know, in the Mulayam Singh Yadav's case, one line of the CBI before
How
and one
can
line
there
after.
be-
No, while he's with you or not with you. Now, in this,
Arnab,
you would also
please
remember,
assume-
Mr. Singhvi, just
please
very
assume
briefly.
everything.
You would remember it was only when the news came out that Quattrochi had been held 11 days after the consulate had informed the Indian government that the Congress admitted the last time.
Please assume everything against the Congress for a moment. There can be no question of secrecy in a 22-year-old case which is being pursued by different governments of different political colors in the total open. Do you think Quattrochi or Bofors or Shri Rajiv Gandhi or the Congress party can claim any kind of secrecy when 22 years of different governments have passed? It could have been true in the immediate aftermath of 87, this allegation. How can it be true today? So it has been totally rent open, and what has happened today is nothing but a consequential action, and we'd be the last persons, if the government was acting, just consider, would the government direct a CBI in the middle of the elections to do something to just create an issue? When on the facts of the case, it's an old 2008 opinion carrying on.
On that
2008
point,
October opinion.
On that point, I just want to tell, we are getting a lot of calls from our viewers as they are watching Arun Jaitley and Abhishek Manu Singhvi. I just want to tell our viewers, thank you for calling. We are not taking calls. Many of you are calling saying, want to speak to these two gentlemen, express your point of view on Bofors. We are not taking calls. My last question is to you, Arun Jaitley. Wing Chadda is dead. SK Bhatnagar is dead. The Hindujas have been let off the hook. Rajiv Gandhi has been given a clean chit. Is it or is it not true that the BJP wants to keep the pressure on this alive, knowing fully well that Quattrochi at the point, compared to the others who are no longer there, is a peripheral character to the entire Bofors investigation. You want to keep it alive because of the Italian connection.
Let me tell you, truth has a very inconvenient habit. Sooner or later, despite the entire fatigue that you mentioned, it will force itself out. And one fact, Quattrochi hangs around the Congress neck like an albatross. Till the truth comes out, he'll continue to hang there.
Right. Okay. Well, I must thank you, two eminent lawyers and fantastic spokespersons for their parties, Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Arun Jaitley, for joining us on this special broadcast. Thank you very much. And to our viewers, News Hour is coming up next, where we ask the question once again, do the people of this country really care which way Bofors and the Quattrochi case goes? We're back in 2 minutes on the News Hour.